I wonder, is my breathing super bad?
No, y'all are fine.
Yo, yiggity yo.
Yo.
What's poppin', Jimbo?
Not much. Just did some painting. So what about you?
Oh, you know, brain hurt. I've been looking into some shit.
Brain hurty.
Brain hurty. I'm ready to have a discussion though, because I've been really, like, it's kind of hard for me to, like, research a topic without talking to people about it, which is what makes it so hard for me to, like, not tell you the stories before we, like, record. And so maybe that's why my brain hurts. It's like, you need to talk about it, and you need to get everything out. It's gonna stop hurting when you tell people about it.
Yeah,
So.
that's why we record.
Yeah.
Then you get to tell me. It's not that long.
I know, but in my head, I'm like, this is a million years. I have so many thoughts that are already gone, dude. Like,
yeah, I get it. I just need to keep a little notebook on me at all times.
Big mood. I feel like even if I did, I wouldn't write my thoughts down. I'd forget about it.
Oh, I definitely would. If I actually kept a notebook on myself, I'd have just a terrible little guide that had all of my weird thoughts and broken sentences, intrusive thoughts for sure.
Definitely.
It would be a mess, but it would be a nice mess. I'd probably draw little flowers in it, make it prettier, you know.
Yeah. Flowers among the shit posting. You know?
Yeah. You gotta have the scenery in the shit posting. Big rips, big dicks. Big rips,
out it all.
Big dicks.
Big dicks.
Nice cough. Nice cough.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the Academy.
The Academy.
Oh my gosh, but honestly though, I'd like to thank Dove fucking coconut dry shampoo spray for making me look like I have sex hair 24/7.
Yeah.
Shout out, sponsor us.
Thanks, Dove. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, our first sponsor.
Oh man.
They're like, yeah, we like the weird shit. We put weird shit into our hair stuff, so obviously we have to support this weird shit fucking podcast. Duh. It only makes sense.
That's just the way it goes.
And that's the way
the news goes.
I was trying to think of another word instead of the news. But
I'm not gonna go in.
Oh my gosh, I have to save this one.
It.
I just thought of one, but I have to save it for when it's applicable because it's really. Oh my god. Okay. Whew, that was a good one. Well, since my baby left me, she found a new place to stay. And that's the way the blues goes. Sorry, I had to contrive it, but like at the same time, I didn't know when I would be able to sing blues to you. So.
Oh man, you know, I'd like to thank Daniel Patrick Ripley.
Yeah, for making this all possible. Daniel motherfucking Patrick Ripley. Fucking wow. Thanks for giving us a platform.
Thanks, Daniel.
So, I mean, do you want to get weird? Like,
I do. Let's get weird.
Let's get weird. So today, we're talking about doors. For those of you who are not familiar with doors, so
they open.
They open and close
into a new room.
You can go somewhere when you open them. Like, right.
We love doors.
Doors help us out, man.
We really love a good door.
We love a good door,
especially mahogany.
Shut up. Get out of my head.
It's like big.
Oh yeah, and like carved. Like
yeah.
I like my shit to be elegant,
ornate.
dude. Like I would like a lugubrious door. A door that causes sadness.
Because it's better than all the other doors.
Absolutely.
Damn right. It's better than yours.
Fucking believe it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so doors. These are more the sense of, like, I almost think of them as interdimensional doors. Like, if I'm being real, like, you enter another, like,
realm.
Some sort of something.
I've always felt that it was another realm that you enter, not necessarily, I mean, yes, a new dimension, but I think it's more of like a fractured version of a reality and or a different reality.
But who's to say that that's not a dimension? You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
Because I feel
that's
like
why
we're
it's
not
really tough to articulate.
super, like... I feel like we haven't gotten to the point of technology to where we can really, really dig deep on what defines or categorizes a dimension.
Right.
Which is what makes all of this so hard, because it's all so hypothetical, like... But that just means that we can have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, hypotheticals are very strange. We love to get into the deep, deep stuff.
Deep.
How deep?
Like the ocean. I'm so sorry.
That was so good. No, I would like that as a shirt. like the ocean.
like the ocean. But like THA.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the oh my god. So, jeez Louise. These doors, where do we go? Is there a reason or rhyme? Do they have an innately good or, let's say, evil, quote unquote? Because we don't know if they're necessarily evil so much as they are chaotic.
Are you talking about the doors that just like pop up out of nowhere?
Yes, the doors that pop up out of nowhere, right?
Kind of like the stairways. I want to talk about those guys.
Absolutely. We could even cover part of that in here if you wanted.
Absolutely.
But so...
Fuck yeah.
I was wondering, okay, so this is the thought that occurred to me before we, like, get into all of the other explanations that I've maybe found. But something that occurred to me was, like, what if on psychedelics, right, you gain the ability to, like, see dark matter, but we don't know what dark matter looks like, so we have no idea, right? So what if these doors are concentrated points of dark matter that allow us to bridge the gap from our reality to another reality? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is a really good theory, and it's definitely one of those ones that I could potentially stand behind. Dark matter is one of those subjective things. Most people...
Absolutely.
It depends on who you ask. They either don't believe in it, or they believe that it has to be there in order for our matter to be here. There has to be some sort of balancing out.
Yeah.
And I think high energy points of dark matter could definitely manifest as doors and lots of other things.
Definitely. I agree with that being...
Because I've seen doors and I've seen doors.
For sure.
Like, some double wide, thick looking dummy boys.
Back that shit into a parking spot. You better have a CDL.
For that dump truck of a door. But, you know.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I screech. It's me. I'm sorry. Oh, fuck, I forgot to do a thing.
Oh,
This
no.
is gonna make us sound way better. You're fired forever.
Okay, but who's Dean?
I think we both know that... I feel like we'd be both. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you can't really make me choose a supernatural boy to be because I have aspects of both. Because I'm just as tall as Sam. Just so you guys know. I'm 6 foot something. That's definitely it. Don't tell them. I get to live my dream if I want to live my dream.
Alright, and I'm 5'9".
Ooh! Don't reach for the stars, but...
It's only 2 inches taller. It's only 2 inches. Oh, that's barely a micro penis taller. Come on.
Oh, I'm like a full 2 feet, probably. He's like 7 feet tall, at least. Sammy! Whoa. 3 text messages in a row from my... I didn't like that.
Oh?
It was 3 text messages in a row from my dad, and my dad just found one of my songs on YouTube and was like, it came up in my YouTube feed, and it was not the Trump song. And like, oh god, I'm gonna cut out the name because I don't want anyone finding it, but I wrote it in like either middle school or beginning of high school. And
I think I remember that one.
Yeah, it's like a video of me in my old room just playing ukulele.
Yes.
No, you're not.
Sean.
You don't even know how to spell my last name.
Forbidden.
I
Oh.
Yeah, get fucked.
Oh, how the turntables have tabled.
Funny you say that. I actually used that line today on somebody on a dating app.
Love.
I was like, the turns have tabled, and I'm gonna take you down in that Denny's parking lot. To give a little, like...
Throwing down in the Denny's parking lot is a rite of fucking passage.
It's true.
With Tinder. I'm not gonna lie. If you don't meet someone that you throw down in the parking lot with, did you even go on Tinder?
It's true. Like, if you didn't figure out who was the dom in that very moment, like, what are you even doing? Do you even know what love is?
No.
Denny's, you even know what love is?
Denny's? Is that you?
Do I know you?
Who are you?
So I don't even remember where we left off, but we're gonna start again.
Dope.
So, we were talking about like concentrated, like
Dark
areas
matter.
of dark
Yeah.
matter and what they could portray themselves as. That was a big hair that I just pulled out of my mouth.
Hey, Sean. Do you want to pack another roll? Sean
the Snap Man. Sean the Snap Man.
Sean. He packs the snaps.
He packs the snaps.
Snap packer.
Snap Packer.
Snap Packer Pop.
So
Sean Packer.
my question is, are these doors portals into the actual like multiverse, right? So like like in the sense of like the fucking Lich in Adventure Time,
Right.
when he's trying to open the portal that accesses every single other dimension so that he can spread his like
I think that
Bad
is
vibes.
a wonderful fucking theory. Do I fully believe it? I don't know, but I like that, and I wish.
Cosmic Owl is fucking hooting around somewhere?
You know what? You could be right about the Cosmic Owl. I feel like I've definitely seen the Cosmic Owl. Not to sound crazy, I've seen a lot of weird shit. I've grown up in Arizona my whole life. It's a weird ass state. There's all kinds of strange happenings, so
It's like Arizona is just a liminal space. I
Yeah.
don't know how else to explain it.
honestly, I'm gonna look back on it someday and be like,
Crazy. How the fuck?
how did I live there for so
Yeah.
long?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Actually, that raises the question of, if Arizona is a liminal space, were we born outside of the space-time continuum?
No.
Because
Probably
does that mean... Because liminal spaces are things that exist outside of time, correct?
Yes, but it's more linked to the feeling of it. Like, not so much... It is a place out of time, and there's a specific energy to it. It's like a...
It's that liminal energy.
yeah. It's the feeling that there should be someone there should be something there, but there's not, and it's empty. Like old buildings that are still full of everything and look like, they're still being used. That have lights that come on. Or underpasses that have like weird shit that just feels like it shouldn't be there type of thing. Hallways that go on forever or look like they go on forever. Things like that.
Grocery stores.
Grocery stores when they're empty.
Oh, yeah.
Big liminal space. Big liminal space.
Big.
Huge. Huge. Huge.
It's gonna be May. You're welcome. Misdirection. Look at me go. I'm a comedy genius.
It's comedy.
Whoa.
Oh.
Actually, before we get into multiverses, just because there's a lot more that I have written down for that, I want to go into black holes really quick. So,
just casually.
yeah, just casually, just like touch the tip of the
Iceberg?
the hole, you know?
Oh, yeah. The tip and the hole?
We're
or
like
just the
really
tip of
into
the hole?
ribbing here.
Oh, boy.
But so
Can we say that?
Lick my wet hole.
Call her daddy. No, just kidding. I don't listen to that podcast.
Oh my god, that's a podcast?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it about
I'm sure it's great.
about men calling women daddy?
It's
and
a
how it
sex
goes?
podcast. It's like a pro sex podcast, basically.
Okay, for sure. I was thinking more like,
from what
like,
I've gathered, anyways.
I called my date daddy and this is how it went. These are stories from my actual life.
I actually I wish. I want someone to call me daddy.
I think that I would be
Just
very
once.
taken aback. Like, I'd probably, like, stop. I'd be like, what did you just call me? And then, like, if she had the balls to repeat it, I'd be like, cool. You had the balls, so, like, it's cool.
Just for once in my life, I just want to hear a cute girl just, like, lean in and whisper and be like, hey, daddy. And I'd be like, hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
What's up, baby girl?
Oh, yeah. Oppa!
Oppa!
Oh.
No, I'd hit her with, how you doing, honeybee? Sweet thing.
Sweet, hot stuff. What's going on in the kitchen? What are you cooking?
What's cooking?
What's cooking good
You
looking?
got
That's
eggs?
the one. What's cooking good looking? So, black holes as portals to other dimensions. Have we heard this theory?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's my avid belief. With
I
black
also
holes.
believe this. I feel like there are. It doesn't necessarily have to be like mirrored units of like space,
Right.
necessarily.
Well, it's just with the way the topography would work necessarily, it's hard to decide if there is an other side because
yeah,
how deeply it pulls space down.
definitely. But also, like, what's at the bottom of space?
That's
turtles?
also
Are turtles down there?
space turtles.
Space turtles with
I'd
space
like
shells.
to think that there's probably space turtles with space shells, and they live in igloos.
Space igloos?
Space igloos. And they smoke a whole lot of reefer because
Oh, yeah.
they're
'Cause that's
prehensile.
what else would-
Prehensile turtles.
So their whole body can grab things? Like, are they a limb on another animal? Like this turtle is just attached.
I give no more description.
It's attached to a space animal.
It's left up to imagination.
Okay, cool. So
you have to
it's to my
decide
own
where
heart's
they're
desire.
prehensile.
Excellent. So I know the question on everybody's minds is that wouldn't we get smushed if we went through a black hole? You know, like spaghettification, a real scientific term used to describe when you go through a black hole. It's also called the noodle effect.
The noodle
I
effect.
hated that. This hair just came out of nowhere, first of all, and then landed on my leg, and then moved upright and fell. So we're not going to talk about it. So spaghettification.
Very superstitious. Hair is falling on.
All over my leg. But so spaghettification is the vertical stretch and the horizontal compression of an item or like thing into a long thin shape. Basically like a stream of atoms.
Right. Yeah.
But then what happens?
It's the pressure.
But then what happens, you know? Like, I feel like everyone thinks that we would die, right? But, like, who knows what would happen? We don't know what happens after we get
we
turned
don't
into
even
atoms.
fully understand what a black hole is. That's
true.
the thing.
That's
so
true.
we can only theorize as to what would happen when you go through one because we don't understand. It's just a concept.
Yeah.
And yes, black holes are proven. They are real. They're lots of evidence that they're there. It's just more we don't understand how they work for the most part. We know that they're dying stars. We know that they're constantly falling in on themselves. That the pressure of that star is consistently bringing everything in from around it and then bouncing back off of each other and not able to release that energy. And so it's just constantly digging into space.
And getting denser and denser. Becoming the most dense, like, thing in the universe.
It
right?
is,
like,
yeah, arguably they've said that it would conceptually be one of the densest things that we could experience. We as humans probably wouldn't even depending on where the black holes are, it would be difficult for us to even get to black holes in the first place. And if we got to one, the idea of going through one with our current technology is instant death. There's no
Well, I just don't know if it would be instant death, you know what I mean? Like
I think you might get stuck in some sort of thought loop or something along the lines of like I mean, if you do die, you'd think that your body would still release DMT. So maybe you get stuck in that trip because time is no longer a thing in black holes. It's
the like melding together of space and time, correct?
Right,
like,
yeah.
That's the fabric of space-time.
Right.
Man.
So the time that's in there is consistently going, but conceptually to us, that time is a time that we could never understand.
Because it's outside of our own limits. Yeah. Well, so, we all think we'd get smushed, correct? But the National Science Foundation physicist, or one of them, Gaurav Khanna, says not necessarily. So if you were to go through a black hole that is big enough, let's say, like, not go through it necessarily, but, like, if you were to, like, breach the edge, let's say.
Oh, breach the edge?
But so if it's big enough and if it's spinning fast enough, passing through the edge might totally be chillin'. Like, you might be good. Like, for example, Sagittarius A aster star. I don't know. It's the biggest. It's like a big ass black hole that's at the center of our universe, right?
Yeah.
And so its radius is like 22 million kilometers.
It's
and
gigantic.
It is 4 million times the density or mass of the sun.
Yeah. So it arguably must have been a star around 30 times larger than the sun.
Something
if not
like
more.
That. I am
maybe
bad at
even
math.
more.
I'm bad at math.
Definitely
so
more.
Can't
I don't math.
conceptualize.
Do the math.
Do the
for
math.
Me.
Send it in.
Not me. I don't do the math.
But so 1 minute on the edge of this big ass black hole, right, is 700 years passing on Earth.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to get at with the
For
fact
sure.
that we might never even conceptually make it to a black hole because the amount of time our bodies, unless we can somehow figure out how to travel at light speed or faster, could not handle that amount of time and that amount of pressure. Well, all of your muscles would atrophy at some point, and you just would eventually lose control. And it seems, especially if you're not a trained astronaut, and you're just like, yeah, we got a spaceship. We travel around space.
We got a recreational spaceship.
Wouldn't that be dope?
Recreational
I'd love to live
astronaut.
in the future where there are recreational spaceships.
Yeah.
What do I have to do to live in a world like Cowboy Bebop?
True.
Man,
I
I'd sell my left kidney.
I would go further and probably I'd sell my left ear.
I think I'd sell my whole uterus.
Oh, I'd sell that in a second. You'd get 2 uteruses.
Yeah.
2
for the
uteri
price of
Cowboy Bebop in the real world. Give me a spaceship and that's like 2 uteri.
And that's
for.
I'll explore space for you, government.
I'm not scared.
I'm not. You know what? I'm a little scared, but only of the fact that we know very little. That's it.
Very little.
We know more about space than we do the ocean, and we really don't know that much about space. So that says a lot, and it's really scary, you know? It's a little frightening.
Under pressure. With that pressure.
I
Both ways.
would not. I think I'm just too afraid to go to space because I'm worried about being combusted or crushed in.
I mean, I'd be down to be combusted.
Yeah, I guess that is a pretty dope way
I'm
to
down
go
with
out.
the combustion.
I don't know. I'm kind of like dead set on getting eaten by a shark or bleeding out after being bit by a shark.
I get that.
I just.
Be a pretty
Hopefully, I don't
like-
drown. Hopefully, I'm with friends.
Yeah.
Arguably, I'd prefer that you're there.
I mean, I will
it would be a
try,
little
but
traumatic.
like, I definitely will. I mean, I'm probably gonna die before you though. So
No, I don't think so.
I really do. I do think so.
I really don't.
I just don't think that. So multiverses.
I can affirm that
I
will
don't know
die
if
before
you can affirm that. I don't know if you can affirm that. But so the multiverse, right? Defined as
Shaman
A shaman can. Okay, well, maybe your shaman wasn't looking at the right thing.
Oh. Okay.
I'm saying your shaman is a sham man.
Jimmy the healer.
Okay, I'm not actually accusing him of being
I
a
love
sham.
Jimmy the healer. He's an excellent human. Biggest aura in the world.
Biggest aura.
I actually don't know that. It's just the largest aura I've ever seen in my life. Very big.
How big?
Like a 5 to 6 foot radius around his body, which is very rare. I mean, you
that's
see
big.
maybe like a foot to like 2 feet. I had seen some like full expansion of the arm auras, but I'm talking like 3 arms lengths, full stretch.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And it was so beautiful. It was this like really magnificent purple color with like tints of gold, and it was really cool.
Yeah, magic man, dude.
Yeah.
That's vibes.
I liked his funky words.
Yeah. I mean, not about the ones of you dying early. But
No, I asked. That was my own fault. It's like, so I've always felt like I was gonna die young. What do you think? And he was like, oof. I mean, life can always change, right? And I was like, thanks. Thanks, Jimmy.
See, life can always change. I feel like that attributes to free will, too.
Yeah,
Like,
he
you have the
definitely alluded
decision.
that there's ways that it could be avoided. And that he said something about avoiding bridges, which is very strange because if you know me,
Yeah.
I have a fear of bridges and have my whole life, and it's been one of those very intense and
So we'll take no bridge routes forever.
no bridge
Forever.
forever, no bridges forever.
No bridges
For
forever.
bridge, I don't know how to play, so don't try and teach me.
Yeah, maybe it was that way, too, huh?
Bridge the game.
Yeah, never play
I'll go
bridge.
out playing a fucking
An old
rough
lady
game
is
of
gonna
bridge,
fucking
shake
choke
me.
you out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think if another old lady choked me out as an old lady, an
I-
old person, I wouldn't be all that mad. I'd be like, you know, good for you, Darla.
Darla.
Good for you.
Good for you. You really took matters into your own hands.
Yeah. I was probably just annoying her.
Yeah, maybe.
If
Maybe
I
you're
know my
cheating at bridge.
Maybe I was cheating at bridge. Maybe.
You're like, I want your
I'm a smooth
Jello at
talker.
lunch.
Oh, I don't know. I don't like Jello.
Jello's not that great. Jello's not that great. PSA.
PSA Jello is gross. Anyways, I'm so sorry to
No, you're good.
completely derail everything.
So the multiverse, we're gonna get into it. Let's go. So it's defined as the hypothetical group of multiple universes, right?
Right.
So it comprises everything in existence: space, time, matter, energy, information, and physical laws and constants that describe them.
Correct.
So there's this Russian-American physicist and professor at Stanford, right? His name is Andre Lind. And so he
Lind,
brought up
like the truffles.
close,
but
but
no
there's
T.
an E
Oh.
instead. Yeah, an E instead of the T. So
Lind.
yeah, and Andre with an I. Yeah,
Andre?
he's- Yeah, is that how you pronounce it?
You said he's what's his ethnicity? Like
Russian
race?
American. Andre.
It might be Andre,
Andre.
but
I should have looked it up. I'm sorry, guys.
it depends.
So Andre.
Andre. It isn't indiscriminate.
Indiscriminate.
Andre or Andre.
He brought up the concept of eternal chaotic inflation, right?
Oh.
And so this is a part of a bigger theory of inflationary cosmology, which suggests that the early universe exploded faster than the speed of light. And it was smaller than like a proton before it exploded, and the explosion was in like a fraction of a second.
Gotcha.
And so it flattened out the visible universe and made
Okay.
everything uniform.
Okay.
And then
I'm familiar with this theory.
for sure. And then after that, the universe developed as the Big Bang predicts.
Right.
There's just a lot of holes in the Big Bang theory, like
Agreed.
unanswerable questions.
Right.
And so this actually answers a lot of those unanswerable questions.
For sure.
And so the Big Bang, it used to be thought that the inflation theory was a component of the Big Bang, but now it's known, or not known, but theorized to be in the inflation, or the Big Bang theory is the component of the inflation theory.
For sure.
So it happened first, and then the Big Bang ensued afterwards.
Right. So they needed to have that in order to have the Big Bang.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Okay, so one of my biggest things with the Big Bang and also the creation of the universe is I'm a firm believer that the universe is constantly expanding. That's I like the rubber band theory, that the universe will expand until it can't anymore, and then it'll snap back and then reset and then expand and then snap back and reset. And I feel that this is something that has happened, whether it be in our dimension but in other dimensions, that it's a continuous cycle because everything is cyclical in life.
Absolutely. It's really funny that you say that, because a lot of my notes actually came to the same conclusion as the rubber band theory without me actually knowing what the rubber band theory was. So
it's my favorite. It's always felt very right. Like learning and watching a lot of things about how the universe was created and just astrophysics in general and how things would exist outside of our visible universe. It seems the most likely that it's constantly expanding, because if you think about it, we're in constant movement. Therefore, there's going to be a point in time where either the moon hits the sun, or something else hits the moon and that hits the sun, or something hits the sun, or we hit the sun, or something hits us, and it's really big and it causes a catastrophic change. And so with that, it would be just like everywhere else. There's that constant changing, and it just seems so right that the universe would also be constantly expanding and changing, because everything within it is also constantly expanding and changing. I don't know.
No, because it would have to encapsulate all of the expansion and change of what's going on inside of it. So
Exactly.
I completely understand where you're coming from. But so, in eternal chaotic inflation is basically that. It's the generation of continuously increasing universes, and they're eternally self-replicating.
Right.
So each universe has its own law of physics.
That's always been my assumption as well. Like, I'd assume that there are beings out there who don't require as much gravity as we do, or are not carbon-based, because just because we're carbon-based doesn't mean that there have to be beings out there that are also carbon-based, because they have a lot of theories that there are beings on Mars that are non-carbon-based, but they have found traces of carbon on Mars's planet, but they don't know for sure if it was brought there by asteroids or meteorites or anything along those lines. So it's really interesting to think, like, there has to be life. There has to be life out there.
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree. It's just too big. It's just too big.
To quote one of my very favorite movies, it would be an absolute waste of space if humans were the only thing in the universe. Just saying.
It's facts. It's facts. So while this universe is eternally self-replicating and everything's getting bigger and expanding, right? It goes into how you were talking about how it will go until it cannot go anymore, right?
Yeah.
And then it'll come back on itself. And that's called the big crunch in what I was reading. And
exactly.
So the big crunch will happen.
And it's the bringing back of all of the matter so it can be dispersed again.
And so something that this raised for me is that, like, was the Big Bang, or this, like, explosion of, like, the universe, basically.
Conceptually, yes.
Was that another universe that happened before, and it was just, like, the inevitable heat death of another universe.
Yes.
And then it's just cyclical, starting over and over and over again.
That's what I firmly believe. I think that there's a reason that there are bones that we can't necessarily date, because they're so old. And that's because our planet had a reset earlier than it was supposed to, with a large asteroid hitting. That was something that probably was just an outlier, because there's so much shit going on in space at all times. Whether or not we know it, there's constant rocks flying around. There's all kinds of planets being formed. There's stars exploding. There's stars being formed. There's stars going out. And it's just going through the state.
Stars forming black holes.
Yeah, well, okay,
so
stars exploding is the like precursor to a black hole. But
Okay,
first
for sure.
they'll go out. A star will go out, and then it'll eventually close in on itself. Or at least from what I've gathered. That's just like the basic knowledge I have off the top of my head.
For sure, Z's.
But I personally think that the Big Bang and our version of the beginning of this universe and this Earth was the end of another potential cycle. And we brought in a new one, and now it's gonna be taken out at some point. I think it's gonna be years and years and years down the line. I probably think that we'll probably get well into the like 3000s before we even have to worry about anything like that.
It's said that we have like, for at least the heat death of the universe, it's like many billions of years.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
But for like
I'm
outlying
thinking like
factors,
humans in general.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure that we'll kill ourselves off. You know?
And it's like we're trapping so much heat inside of our atmosphere. The question is, how long will it be until crops stop growing? And that's the thing. It's like, does the universe reset when life is no longer flourishing? That's the real question. What causes the reset?
Yeah.
Where does it reach the point
the
of no longer being
stipulations?
able to expand?
Yeah, definitely. It's so interesting to think about what's going on in those other like planetary systems too. Like what are like, if we reach our peak in flourishing, let's say, who's to say that another planet is still thriving, like going on, doing whatever? Like,
right. Well, I think that this is just currently in our local space, like atmosphere and solar system, because there are evidence of other solar systems, and there's evidence of full circulations of solar systems with multiple stars and multiple moons. So it's, for me, I've always considered that there must be some form of other universe out there, whether they be like us or more advanced. I feel that they would probably have a tendency to be more advanced, but that's also because our planet is relatively new, and I feel that there are definitely star systems out there that are much, much older than ours, and that's because they were one of the first probably when space started to grow and expand, and then we planted ourselves somewhere, and we like to consider ourselves the middle of the universe and the middle of space, but we're not. Conceptually, we're just a tiny little point in a giant map of almost nothingness with
because we think we're important.
Yes,
We're like our sun.
our sun.
No,
There are many suns. That's the sun that we currently revolve around on the planet Earth, which have you heard the theory of the people who can like feel the rotation of the planet? And
no, but that sounds interesting.
yeah, there are supposedly people in the like spiritualist community and the psychic community that can feel the rotation of the earth, and like when they stop and take a moment to breathe or like ground themselves, they can feel the rotation of like the following planets and like where everything is, and they have a deeper understanding of how it moves on its own. I don't know if I necessarily fully believe it. I haven't really met anyone personally who can do that, but I think it's very interesting.
I feel like that'd be a very interesting feeling to have. Like, what does it feel like? Is it like the
Yeah, right?
fucking like stone against stone, like that fucking that really great noise? Like, not even sarcastically either. Like, it's one of my favorite noises ever. But like of a stone door coming up in a stone like holder, you know, like it's grating, but it's like a nice grating sound.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean.
Like, is that the feeling, or is it something more along the lines of like, oh, I get vertigo? Like,
I feel like, yeah, there are a lot of people who say it can cause like a vertigo feeling, and then others say that it's just like a welcoming feeling of like the movement of everything, like the reminder that not only are they constantly changing, but the earth is constantly moving forward.
for sure.
But I think I don't know. I'm similar. I've told you where when I'm in certain places, I can feel large bodies of water. Like I have this very intense, like I know when I'm below sea level. If you took me somewhere and you blindfolded me and you covered my nose, because my sense of smell is fucking baller. I don't know why.
Baller.
I could probably guess where we are. Not state-wise, but like
In proximity
local,
to,
yeah,
like, the things
local
around, yeah.
area and like what kind of plants and shit and what kind of stuff is around.
We should do that sometime.
Yeah.
I'll just drive you somewhere in Arizona, blindfolded and nose folded.
Oh God.
I'm gonna fold your nose into your face.
You're gonna fold my... No! Flashbacks to
Nose.
fucking Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh God. Don't.
Screeching.
Don't. So, let's go.
We're the best at getting off topic today.
Yeah, we are. But so, scientists... Oh God. No, we're gonna restart that.
Scientists!
Science!
Science.
Cats like lasagna. Science.
That's
It's been proven.
facts.
I have done
Speaking of
experiments.
fucking lasagna,
Oh God.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, felt that. But so Lind acknowledges that due to, like, if you... Oh God. I'm gonna start again. I'm
You
so
got
sorry.
it. Don't worry about it.
So Lind suggested that through the application of the inflationary cosmology principles, right, that scientists may be able to contrive a universe in a lab. While this is highly...
Like a simulated universe.
like, you create a universe in a lab. Kind of like what it made me think of was like the Rick and Morty episode.
Yeah, where his engine is the whole universe.
Yeah.
See, yeah, that was my immediate thought too.
So it must be right.
Immediately.
But so Lind acknowledges that this is extremely speculative,
Right.
but he also...
I mean, it's fun speculative.
It's fun speculative for sure. I feel like anything's possible. I just feel like we don't have the technology to, like...
I don't think that we have the technology yet.
Or the capacity, even, necessarily. Like, depending on what is needed to contrive these universes, you know? Like, I just don't know.
A large heat source.
Yeah.
High pressure. And then...
Where are we going to get that energy from to power a whole universe?
some sort of nuclear
Little
energy.
street lights, little
Could work.
people. Is that a song? Little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tacky.
Little boxes on the hillside, and they all look just the same. There's a
Blue one and a green one and a yellow one and a purple one. Wow, I really didn't know the lyrics, but we really held it together.
We tried, and that's what matters.
So final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Yes, I think that doors could definitely lead to another dimension. There's the argument of people have seen doors even sober.
Yeah.
Out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Random.
I've seen a fucking door in the wilderness. That shit was fucking crazy.
It's strange. It's strange when you come across a door that literally leads to nowhere, because there's that ominous feeling of, do I go through it?
And also, should I be here?
Yeah, exactly.
Like...
I've come across some stairs out in the middle of the woods. Supposedly, they had been a part of an old watchtower in the area, but the watchtower had burnt down, but the stairs were metal, so they didn't burn down.
Interesting.
And they were just some rickety old fucking, basically, like, spiral staircase up and fire escape type looking stairs. And I so badly wanted to go to the top. But the moment that I started walking towards it, I got this gut feeling that I shouldn't be there and that I shouldn't have even considered the idea of walking to the top. That it was a forbidden thought. It was like, no, you shouldn't. I can't believe you just thought of that, brain.
Did people die?
I don't think so, no. I don't think so.
I would say, fuck you, stairs. I'm gonna go up.
See, the worry is that they looked pretty rusty and old. So, like, I don't know if they had been serviced in fuck tetanus. I don't want to get fucking tetanus. So
Tetris.
Tetris.
I don't want any of your Tetris, bro. None of it. Little boxes on a screen in my phone and on all sorts of game systems.
As for everything else, I've always been a firm believer of the rubber band theory when it comes to the universe. It just seems to be the one that makes the most sense.
Absolutely.
It fills in a lot of gaps.
Definitely.
And it's, but now that I've had the full explanation, because he really took that theory and added on to it, is what it seems like. He decided, not quite, and then collected more information, decided that this would fit, which science is all about trial and error, and it's interesting to watch them consider that there are things outside of science realms, and that there are things that can't technically be explained within the realm of our understanding, but that doesn't mean that they don't exist, and that they couldn't exist, which that is an instant, it's so exciting and so scary at the same time, because there's so much conceptually that could exist, but there's so much that we don't know, and that we could never know. And I think psychedelics are that little breach into a realm that we're unfamiliar with, and it pushes us into a consciousness that we're not necessarily used to. And there's the argument that people who lived before us in the United States, as in the indigenous peoples all over the entire world and continent, specifically the continent over here on the western side, because they used psychedelics in a way to push themselves forward in their lives and work through mental blocks and work through trauma and become a new person, which is always a very interesting concept to me, because it's like, if you're using psychedelics to become a new person and you come across a door, do you go through that door? As someone who has done psychedelics and enjoyed them and seen some entrances and doors, I've gone through a few. Sometimes it's really worth it. So if you ever get a good feeling about a door, go through it. See where it takes you. And if you get that feeling like maybe you shouldn't know that door exists, hightail it out of there, bro. It's okay.
Yeah, all you gotta do is just make it back.
Just get out of there. Word to the wise. If you go through a door, always try to find that door to come back. Windows too. Definitely windows. Always try and find the same window. They can look the same. It can be tricky, but you don't want to get stuck somewhere. You gotta come back to our reality.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to. I know it sucks sometimes, but
I have definitely gone through a door that did not feel welcoming. It was almost like a liminal space door too. Like, it was really strange. I was out in like Prescott. It was Prescott National Forest. And no, Payson National Forest. Yes, sorry. I always mix Payson and Prescott up. But so we were in Payson National Forest, and we had microdosed that day. It was me and like one of our mutual friends, and we went out on this trail, right? And we walked down for like, it felt like an hour and a half maybe, and when I looked at the clock, it had been 3 hours. We had walked down this path and found a lot of weird shit, like a fairy ring with something placed directly in the center of it. Like, we found this weird little, like,
she grabbed it, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
You
she
told me
grabbed
about
it,
that.
and she
I would
has
never
it still.
take offerings from the fae.
It's spooky.
I just don't need that in my life. I don't need their chaos in my life.
Yeah. But so when we were coming back out of this like super weird experience that we had, we were coming back up to the trailhead, right? And as we come back up to the trailhead, there is this fucking, like, oh my god, I don't even know how to, it's a tunnel through a hill, right? That's happening in the, like, it's at the trailhead. You have to walk up the hill to get to the trailhead. Yeah. And so there's this tunnel that's going through. It's like this big square tunnel. It's stone, like maybe cement, probably. Yeah, I think it was cement. But we had not seen it on our way in at all. Like, it was not there when we had gotten there at all. And so when we
I
came
remember you
back,
telling me
it
about
was
this.
really jarring to see this fucking hole that's literally, like, you can see through it, and there's, like, a square of nature on the other side, but in this fucking hole is just
Pitch black.
It's pitch black. I took a
And in
picture of it.
broad daylight, it's
In broad
so
daylight. In
strange
broad
because it's
daylight.
not even that large of a gap.
No.
It's not like it was very long.
It was probably maybe, like, 6 inches additionally from my, like, arm's width on
So
each
around
side. So, like, a
6
foot.
foot.
Something like that. But, yeah, it was really, really crazy. And so I, like, didn't get a good feeling from it, seeing it in the first place. And then the person that I was with was like, whoa, like, that's super weird. And I was like, do you want to go through it? And she was like, I mean, I guess we can go through it. And so we went through it, and I had this really weird anxious feeling the whole time that I was going through this, like, long tunnel. And there was all sorts of weird creepy crawlies in there, like,
Sounds about
all
right.
sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And so when we got to the other side, nothing felt innately different, but it was so weird. I felt way more alone, you know, like, in the world. Like, I felt like there was no one around us anymore. And, like, I asked her, I was like, hey, not to seem crazy or anything, but, like, we should go back through the way that we came, just in case, because I did get, like, a physical picture of this door, so maybe it was there when we had gotten there and we just didn't see it, but the way that it presented itself to us didn't feel like it was necessarily, like, I don't know, it didn't seem like...
Well, I saw a physical staircase, so I mean, it's it can be the attachment to the place. I told you that story about the kid who hopped a fence.
Yeah.
And ended up in a complex completely different, even though it was the fence into his complex.
Yeah.
Could not find his apartment. And you can hop into different dimensions or just slide into something that you weren't supposed to. Always go back the way you came. Always. That's your best bet. People who get stuck in other dimensions or get stuck on a different plane of existence come back fractured. And you can see it, and it's very strange. It's strange. And you have to, like, take that time to remind yourself that even though going through the door can be scary, sometimes it's worth it.
True. And if it's not worth it, you can just go back right through it.
Go back through. That's it. Done.
That's it. That's all.
Just a tiny little exploration. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you gain anything from this, when you go through a door, just come back through.
Always. You'll have to eventually anyways.
True.
Everyone needs a good door.
Everyone needs a good damn door. Well, thanks for keeping it freaking weird with me, man.
Always.
I love talking with you.
I love talking with you.
You're the best. You can find us all sorts of places. Our handle for pretty much everything is Wanna Get Weird Podcast. So Wanna Get Weird Podcast on Instagram, Wanna Get Weird Podcast on Twitter. I don't know if we've made that yet, have we?
Yeah. No.
Excellent. It'll happen. We'll be on it. And we have a wannagetweird@gmail.com account.
Send in stories.
Send in whatever you want,
Talk
my dudes.
to us.
Tell us
Tell
everything.
us what you think.
Am I missing one?
And our YouTube
is
Wanna Get Weird with a question mark. So
big
if you
old
just search
question mark.
Wanna Get Weird on YouTube, we'll pop right up. It'll be me, Aster, and her, Sage.
Can someone tell me why we don't capitalize punctuation? Like, why can't we do that? Like, if I wanted to make a question mark, like a capital question mark, why can't I do that?
That would be pretty sweet.
That's all I'm saying. Stay weird out there.
Stay weird and stay safe.
Stay very safe.